Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 86 of Preston Jensen's podcast. If you're new here, I'm your host, Preston. Tonight, we've got a very special guest, a returning guest.
I think this is a three-peat.
Three-peat.
I think it's a
James
three-peat.
Jensen, my brother, is back online. This is your
think,
third time on the show?
I think so. And isn't it the third that you get like a maroon velour jacket?
It could be. I don't know what. Usually you get a print for the first time, and then I don't know if the gifts keep getting better or if you just don't get gifts anymore and you're just stuck on the show.
Well, I think it's more like an esteem thing.
Could be.
It's like street cred.
Yeah, you get street cred for being on the show, I guess, more times than not. We don't have anything.
Would you be opposed to me having a medal made that I can wear when I'm driving my Vespa?
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
And then you can just put a notch on it every time you get onto the show.
Right. Actually, that would be sweet. If you had, that's a great idea. Like, I think I'll get a medal, probably gold, and then, yeah, every time, and on your third time, then you get this medal. So Chelsea will need one, and she can have like 4 notches on it now.
Yep.
Probably.
Yeah, this is a good idea. I can't wait to see what you come up with. And I'm sure any other returning guests on this show are very excited to see what you come up with too.
Yeah, they're going to want it.
I've got, we didn't have anything planned for this episode, and there's something I saw in the news that I knew James would be excited about. So I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I'm going to pull it up on my screen. And for those of you who are listening online, you're going to have to watch the YouTube version of this to see what I'm talking about. But it is a new truck coming out from Honda, and I knew that you were into the Honda Ridgeline. So
yep.
Let's see here. What do you think of this? This is their new concept of an all-electric truck. Supposedly it's going to be rival to the Rivian, the Tesla Cybertruck. Looks pretty cool. And, all these concepts, it's like, are they actually going to make it or not? But when you're looking at like how those doors open, it doesn't really look like a truck, but it looks more like a truck than something like the Cybertruck, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts are that's a pretty sharp-looking vehicle. My only issue with so this one's all electric?
All electric. And I know that's kind of a bummer for me too. I hate all electric vehicles just because we're in North Dakota.
I like the concept, but I just don't know how they'd perform in North Dakota.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the concept. It would be cool if it was feasible for us in North Dakota, but I just don't know how it would. Like this past week, it was negative 30 below for several days in a row. I don't know how that's going to work. And then the other thing that stresses me out is I like going on long drives, and I don't want to have to worry about where the next charging station is. In the future, if they're around like gas stations and they're just everywhere, it might not be much of a problem. But as of right now, at least in our area, I don't know, do you know of any other charging stations other than Jamestown?
Jamestown Mall.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I know of too.
I don't even know is there one in Fargo right now?
I'm sure there is somewhere.
But like funny this weekend, I was ice fishing. So you get out there. So you first have to have some pretty good tires to get through the snow drifts. And then you're out there for like a couple hours. And then what if your battery dies while you're out there? You're not coming home. You're just stuck.
But then a lot of these
gas, if you run out of gas, you can at least have a gas tank with you and fill it up. But unless maybe you brought a generator, maybe you carry a generator in the back.
But see, a lot of these trucks, like that new Ford Lightning, they're saying that you can use the actual truck as a generator for the house if the power goes out. So hopefully, if you're out on the ice, you're not going to have issues with power, but that is a big. I mean, you can't just. I don't know. It
But like
sounds like
with the Ford Lightning, to use it as a generator for the house, do you have to plug in the truck then?
yeah, you'd somehow have to plug in the actual truck to the. Oh, you're
Into your
joking here.
next door neighbor's house,
Yeah, yeah.
and then
Plug
power your house,
plug in
then
the
your house
truck.
with
But
it.
that's just it. You can use it as a generator, but how long would that last? And what could you run? And then once you're spent, then you're stuck at your house with no way to get anywhere else. I don't know
Right.
how it all works, but who
It's a
knows?
great idea.
It is a good idea. But this thing looks pretty sweet. You'll
It
have to
does.
look it
No,
up
I
after
like it.
the. To me, it looks kind of like a SUV truck crossover, and it looks like just like the Cybertruck. It looks like you can drive an ATV into the back end of it, which would be cool. Still, right now, I would have to go with the Rivian if I was going to get an electric vehicle, just because that one looks more like a truck to me than
So
like the
if you
Cybertruck.
were to buy a pickup right this second, what would it be?
Rivian, that's
Or
what I
a
would go with.
vehicle? No, I mean literally, not an electric, just
Oh, not
anything.
an
If you were
electric?
to,
I wouldn't buy a truck. I'd buy a Kia Telluride.
hmm, okay,
And I know you would get a Honda Ridgeline. Is that
I
right?
would. I think so. Yep. I love
And
my
for
Tundra. It's a great vehicle, but for my purposes, I think Honda Ridgeline would do great. They have
yeah,
speakers in the box. I mean, what more do you need?
but I think about this. The Tundra that you have is probably one of the coolest looking pickups around. And I mean, just get one of those little JBL or Bose speakers, toss that in the back, and you're good.
I
Same
suppose
thing.
I could.
Yeah,
I could even
but
get one of those ones with the mixers on the top.
right. So I feel like you're already partially there, and yeah, it would get a little bit better gas mileage, but would it be enough to even be noticeable? I don't know.
Eh,
Maybe. But,
I don't know.
well, maybe now it would be since you just got those aggressive tires on. I don't know.
Yeah. No, now I'm liking plowing through snow, so I'll
Well,
hang tight for a while.
we're switching subjects here, but we're both pretty big Viking fans. Are you excited or disappointed in the direction the Vikings are going?
Well, I think it's time for a fresh start. I love Mike Zimmer.
I do too.
I
I've
think
always
he's just
liked him.
an awesome guy. It's like
Yep.
unfortunate that they just couldn't win. So it's like I always like listening to Zimmer, and it's unfortunate they didn't just crush it because I feel like they should have.
Right.
So
And the one thing I was always looking forward to is a Viking Super Bowl with Mike Zimmer because I feel like he would finally be happy.
no,
Because
he wouldn't.
maybe he would still be upset about something. I don't
Yeah,
know. But it seems like he's always just a little bit grumpy. And I would have loved to see the relief in his face winning a Super Bowl. But I don't know. I loved Mike Zimmer. I thought Spielman did a lot of good things for the team, but I am kind of excited for the hope of a brighter future.
yeah. It's just good
Who,
to have a fresh start sometimes.
who's your number one coach if you could hire one from your wish list?
Bill Belichick.
Oh, yeah, me too. Out of
You said
available
anyone.
coaches. Yeah, out of available coaches.
I
I also would like to talk if they could interview his son. I think he'd
yeah,
be
that's
awesome.
true. Yeah,
But I know earlier we were talking, you said Mike Tomlin. That'd be cool, but he's still under
I think he'd be
contract.
a good
But
fit.
yep. I've actually got someone who's been on this podcast before. I have him on Facebook, and he's a huge Steelers fan. And I see just about daily he posts that he's not too happy with Tomlin. And I think, man, I think I might.
We'll take him.
Yeah, I was thinking. I mean, he's been in the playoffs. He's won a Super Bowl. Yeah, anyone who can win the Vikings a Super Bowl will be my number one pick. But I might take Tony Dungy if I could pick anybody. I know he's retired and everything, but I
What
think
about
he'd be.
Peyton Manning? He
Oh
could,
yeah, that'd be cool too.
or
But
Tony Romo.
yeah,
He
those
would
guys would be
know
cool. But
everything.
they've got too good a thing going on with their
You can't
commentary.
assume.
So yeah, that's true. They should reach out and ask.
It depends on who you ask,
Yep,
Preston.
that's right. Yeah, so really, I wonder how the process goes. I wonder if they do reach out to guys like that, just saying, "Hey, we know you're probably not interested, but would you be willing to think about it?" I don't know. Maybe they would say yes if the price was right. But but
Bo's how
well,
you approach it.
yeah, I suppose. What's new in real estate for 2022? Anything to be excited about?
Everything. I'm excited about the market, especially
Okay.
I like our market where we're at. Um, our median home sale price is still significantly less than the surrounding areas. So I think the price points um, have room to grow. Because yeah, like here, our median home sale price is around 187,000, where Jamestown's about 190, a little over 190,000. But then you get to Castleton, they're 260. Mapleton is 305, and Fargo or West Fargo is 330. So,
Yeah.
and we still
So
got our rural farmsteads around here have that high speed fiber optic internet. We're getting a lot of work from home people, YouTubers, people who do podcasts from home. We have some of the fastest internet in the country right here. So, plus we've got the river. It's pretty. We can kayak. Valley City is perfect for if you're into scooters. Everywhere is 25 miles an hour anyway. So if you got a Vespa, that is the way to travel in the summertime.
I think the kayaking in Valley City is going to explode in the future because there's
I think
just
so too.
it's too fun, and I think if they put in a few more ports or entry points, I think it's going to be a big time activity, especially when you can do things like kayak underneath the Highline Bridge. There's not too many places that has a river going under a bridge like that, so kind of a neat experience that's specific to Valley City.
Have you had Andy Yak Angler on here?
I have not had him on here. I would love to have him on here. His channel's amazing, and I think he's living right over in Fargo, so
Well,
that
that's
would
what I
be
thought.
cool.
Isn't he
Yep,
around here? Because I know he's on the Cheyenne River frequently.
all the time. Yeah, he posts
So
videos about it all the time. So, yeah, I've just got
it
to
seems like
execute.
a natural fit.
Yeah, it would be a great fit. I
Can
now
you start a petition?
Preston needs to execute and get him on the show is what has to
Right.
happen. So, yep, I'll have to
Well,
reach out to
maybe
him.
starting today, we could start a petition to get him on the show.
Hey,
If
anything
anybody's
helps.
watching who knows him, please contact Preston because we need that guy around here. He needs to come hang out at the ranch too.
He does. Yep.
Yeah.
And I heard you say something about storing kayaks out there too. So if you can get a hold of them, yeah, that'd be a good fit for him as well, hopefully.
Yep.
So
We'll have a
yeah,
spot for him to store his kayak right at the Cheyenne River.
yep. So if anyone does know him, tell him he needs to get on this show. That would be cool because what a great ambassador for the area, especially, the North Dakota, Minnesota area that we live in.
Oh, it's wonderful. I was
Yeah,
working with a guy from Washington State the other day, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I see a lot about your area." I was like, "Oh yeah, how do you?" "Oh, I watch this Andy Yak Angler on YouTube."
yeah, it's
So it's
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's amazing. And yeah, the amount of reach some of these people have on YouTube, and especially the work he does for North Dakota tourism, he should almost be on their payroll. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Just because he's promoting the state so much.
Well, and aren't there like some brothers? Are they from Jamestown or who are the guys who go and
Yeah,
find some.
there is another group of YouTubers. I don't know where they're out of, but I've actually seen them in Valley City, and I think they do magnet fishing and they
Yeah.
clean up the river and stuff. So that's another cool North Dakota YouTuber. So yeah, it is. It's always fun to find YouTubers and like Russ with 51 drones. I've had him on the show. He's out of Minot and he's a big drone YouTuber. So it's fun to find people who create that are from North Dakota. Another one I'd love to have on the show is that You Betcha guy. And I don't know if you've seen him at all. He's a comedy YouTuber out of Fargo or Fargo Moorhead area, and he's hilarious. He's one of the funniest people you'll ever find. So it would be fun to have him on the show at some point as well. But yeah, that's one you definitely need to look up because he's even got his merchandise in Fleet Farm, which is I'd say pretty big time for a YouTuber. And yeah, you'll have to look him up. Any other YouTubers that you watch?
I didn't. No.
Yeah, that's what I just like.
I don't really watch. I don't. I don't know. I
Yep.
don't watch too much.
Well, you got to get into it more because there's a lot of very talented creators right around our area. So, other than the market, is there anything new that you're excited about? Maybe technology wise. We should probably have you again after you go to your big convention. Maybe they'll have some things that would be worth talking about as far as real estate goes.
Oh,
Um,
sure. Yeah, there's constantly new tech. There's constantly new um, systems that you can utilize for real estate. I think video is going to continue to dominate the trend for what's necessary in real estate. So if you're selling, uh, it's good to have an agent who utilizes video because I think I read a stat that 82% of buyers are um, getting a lot of their information from video.
yeah,
So,
makes sense.
but not
And
everybody, it's not the easiest thing to do all the time, but it's necessary.
but it seems like a lot of the stuff that's new technology, like the photos, the videos, the 360, all that stuff. Now that's becoming the baseline, and now you got to think of other stuff to do to differentiate. Is there anything else on the horizon? I suppose you don't want to tell.
Yeah, I
Uh,
wouldn't tell you if I knew.
is there anything that's dying
Yeah,
off that
I would tell you.
yeah. Is there anything that's dying off that is something that you had to have in the past that's
Uh,
not really necessary?
like trapper keepers even are still necessary. It's good to handwrite notes.
Yeah.
Do you know what a trapper keeper is?
I know nothing about that. I'm guessing it's
Oh,
some sort of
it's
something you
it's
put in
a
the mail. I have no idea.
it's a notebook device. Here, can you look it up on your uh,
Yeah, you keep the
uh
listeners online or on the.
okay.
You can talk about it.
So I may have just dated myself with a trapper keeper. Everybody had a trapper keeper back in the day, but they're amazing. You keep everything in it, your pencils, your notebook. You probably have some unicorn picture on the front of it.
All
There,
right.
right bottom left corner. That looks like a good one.
What is that? A Toyota MR2 or something?
No, it
I don't
could
know.
be. Click on
So
it.
for those
Can
of you
you?
listening, basically it's like a soft pencil case or something.
It's a full.
I
It's
don't
a
really
full. It's everything in one.
I don't really know what this would have to do with real estate, but you never
Well,
know.
I was trying
Maybe
to think of something that might be obsolete. Okay, um, like a tablet or a computer with a floppy disk drive. That would
yeah,
probably be obsolete now. But it seems
yep,
like so much advertising, they just add more and more and more. So like um, radio.
Right.
newspapers. That stuff is still very necessary. So many people assume everybody's finding everything online. There is still a big uh, group of people who aren't using social media or
Right.
who are not looking online. They get their information via a newspaper. So you kind of have to be everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, you can't really ignore any of the old styles of media because, like you said, radio, newspapers, there's still a large demographic of people who only use that stuff. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Well,
but
and
then,
what is nice in real estate today versus in the past, there's just so many new ways of getting in front of people. Because I mean, bottom line, you still have to be in front of people all the time. So that's the key.
so do you, when you're doing your like marketing for any of your real estate stuff, do you have a consistent message throughout the newspapers, the radio, or do you kind of, because I would expect the younger generation would be geared more towards the social media, the Instagram, the stuff like that. So do you gear those advertisements towards the younger crowd and then the newspaper
Well,
advertisements more
it's
towards
always
the
a
older
different message.
crowd?
It's like sometimes, yeah, obviously there's different messages all the time. Um, and you can be talking about all sorts of different things, but the the message that needs to come across is when that just remember my name, remember the company, and just um, when that day comes around that you might want to sell or look at something, you're the first name that pops in their head.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, if you're doing a radio commercial, you'll say something like, "Your Davenport would look lovely here." But if you're doing something like a podcast, you're like, "The couch sits right over there," something like that, right?
Yeah, I like your utilization of Davenport.
Yeah. See, you got to.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the town first,
Oh yeah.
or the love
Yep.
seat. Yeah.
Yep. So you.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, it's interesting to see. Like now it seems like everybody's got a podcast. Do you think there's ever going to be a market where you're going to have a podcast for your real estate business?
Have to?
Have
You
to.
know, the thing is, nobody has to do anything. Like everybody has their own style. If it fits what you do, yeah, then you should do it. But
But at the same time, I feel like there's plenty of opportunities for some people. Like if you're willing to do the podcast, you're willing to do all the social media, you're willing to do the scavenger hunts with the 360 tours and stuff. To me, as someone who would, if I ever sell a home, I'd be like, oh, they're doing that. I'm getting more for my money, because
mhm.
if you're not doing all the marketing and all that stuff, what are you really buying? You know what I mean? Or uh, what does a company have to offer if they're doing nothing?
But look at
You
these
know?
jazz hands.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Woo!
Yeah, people are going to have to watch this on YouTube because James is made for showbiz.
Yeah, right.
Another good thing about tonight is James has unlimited time to be on my show, so we could go on and talk and talk and talk
Well,
forever.
I don't have unlimited time because I've got to get to the Troubadours tonight.
Well,
So
and that
anybody
starts.
listening who's are in this area, if you're a male who enjoys singing, the Valley Troubadours is a fantastic place to go and do that. It's just one night a week.
Or if you enjoy listening to music, where can they see you?
Oh, they can see us. Well, we typically do about 3 concerts a year around Christmas time, and then also in the spring around Easter.
And I can say that they're very good. I usually make it to one a year, and usually it's in Litchville, but I didn't get to go this year. But do you still
This
do the
year,
Litchville?
the out of town one was in No, I can't remember. But my favorite one is the one at the courthouse.
Oh.
Where it's a 3-level courthouse that's the walls are all marble, I think, and the center is all open. There's a Christmas tree going all the way up the top, and then the choirs stand around the opening in the middle, and everybody sits down below.
That would be kind of neat. I'd kind of expect it to echo like crazy in there, but it doesn't.
No, the reverberations off the wall, it sounds awesome.
Interesting. Yeah, because usually when you think of hard surfaces like that, you'd think it would echo like crazy. Like and
it does. I mean, there's definitely a bounce back, but when they're all singing together and they stop, and then you can hear it kind of woo. I mean, it's impressive.
So it's an experience. It's kind of cool. Different.
It's an experience, yes.
Actually, man, now that I'm thinking of old technology, I think there was a CD player or something where you could switch like where you were listening to the audio. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like you could switch the mode where you could hear it like in like an auditorium, and it would change the acoustics of how the.
Oh, was that the Sony Discman?
It could be. I was it just popped into my head when you said that, and it's like I'll have to look that up. But I remember going through the different things, and one of them was like an auditorium, and it was just like echoey. And I thought, why would anyone want this as a feature? But I suppose, like you said earlier, it depends on who you ask. Maybe you like listening to your music in an auditorium and love the echo. But, well, I want to let you go here. Thanks, James, for being on the show, and thank you all for listening.
Me. I can't wait to get my medal.
Yes, I can't wait to see what that medal looks like. But the bad thing about saying something on the podcast is now you have to execute. So we're going to have to hold James to this, and hopefully he'll be able to show it off in maybe a future episode or something. Maybe when you come back from your big convention in Las Vegas. What's that called again?
The R4 convention.
R4 convention.
It's amazing. I mean, you're on the front lines of everything going on in real estate.
And I remember you said 1 year Gary V talked at one of the events.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that would be awesome.
Marcus Leonidas, the Prophet, seen Peyton Manning, Steven Tyler performed for our group. Zach Brown band's there this year. Saw Pitbull last year.
There you go.
It's actually pretty entertaining.
Who's the speaker this year?
Okay, Dave Ramsey was last year.
Like the author of
off the top of my head, but yeah, they've got
the author of the Total Money Makeover. That Dave Ramsey, really?
Yep, the Dave Ramsey.
And
talked about buffaloes and donkeys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and you said you don't know who it is this year?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well,
but I'm sure it's something fantastic.
We'll have to have you on again so you can talk about R4, you can talk about the speakers, and you can show off that awesome medal for being on Preston Jensen's podcast.
Yep.
Should be a good time.
The third time you get a medal from now on.
Third time, courtesy of James. It's going to be good.
Okay.
Well, I want to thank you all for listening to this episode. It was a lot of fun to just kind of hang out with my brother, get an episode complete before the national championship game. It's Monday, and the national championship is on tonight, so hopefully all of you listeners can enjoy that. Thanks again for listening, and we will talk to you next week.